Ladies and gentlemen, extend a warm welcome to all.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hello and welcome to UN Day of Education. I'm Golf Gamturi,
And
and today's event is organized by students at School of Integrated Innovation in collaboration with Gen Thailand and supported by the diplomatic. So today we will be hearing from our guest speaker. We're going to be participating in a panel discussions about investing in people and prioritizing education and views. We believe that with your participation and engagement, we will achieve it.
the UN to enhance and rejoice the role of education. Annually on January 24th, the UN chooses the day's theme to promote
Dialogue so important.
because presentation and dialogue events allow people to share their thoughts, perspective, and experiences on a topic while encouraging open and constructive dialogue. Again, we encourage you to take advantage of all that this event has to offer and to connect with other attendees and industry leaders.
All right. So without further ado, may I please invite on stage. Um, all right. So Professor Warsak is not.
Dato Joji Samuel, Ambassador of Malaysia to the Kingdom of Thailand, a member of the Board of Presidents of the Diplomatic Council.
A very good afternoon. Sawadee Krap. Datuk Steve Chia, distinguished panelists, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. In December 20, United Nations General Assembly as the International Day of Education. To celebrate education, and it's not limited to institutions. Each of us has a duty to promote quality education to education in future. According to UNESCO's statistical data, an estimated 258 million communities, those living in regions with higher inequality and underdeveloped countries. The bitter reality is that there are countless societies around the world today where education is dismissed under the theme to invest in people, prioritize education. Now, why International Day of Education is important? First thing is that education is a human right. It's as simple as that. Education is a human right. To deprive someone of this right is tragic, as it can make the difference between a turbulent or prosperous future. Second, education is the key to sustainable development. Without education, there cannot be persistent development. It is essential for helping societies evolve and develop. Third is that empowering individuals. At the core of it, educating an individual means empowering them. It empowers them to. Now, education is not just a right in itself, it's also an important catalyst. For peace, for health, we could live over 420 million challenges. The good news first. Since the turn of the century, we have come a long way getting children into school. UNESCO estimates that while there were over 375 million children and youth out of school in 2000, today this has reduced to 262 million. Education has stagnated. In fact, 1 in 5 children and youth did not go to school last year. Are not even learning basic skills, and 2/3 of them are in school. As the numbers show, poor access to education and education that is failing to deliver even basic levels of learning disproportionately affects children living in the world's poorest countries, and interventions in education too often fail to target learning. Now, how can we step it up? There is no silver bullet, no one-size-fits-all strategy to remedy this on early grade learning. The early years are decisive for a child's learning trajectory. If they fall behind by age of 10, it is almost impossible to get back on track later in life. Children need to learn basic academic skills, such as problem solving, that are becoming more and more important in a globalized and technologically advanced economy. Improve children's learning. Countries and donors need to be better at tracking how much they spend on education. Transparent about how money is spent is crucial. Financing must lead to results. And third thing, better data systems. World leaders have committed to ending extreme poverty by 2030 by agreeing and equitable. Yet, just 23% of countries are currently reporting against measurement indicators to achieve. The world's efforts to address it will not be as effective as it could be. Now, this Education Day is a great reminder of what has been achieved so far and the challenges still to come, and for living a wholesome and happy life. True education always humanizes the person.
Thank you very much, His Excellency. Now we would like to invite all His Excellency.
May I have Professor Wasak please remain on stage So I would like to invite Professor Wasak Kanok Nakunchai, Executive Director of Chulalongkorn School of Integrated Innovation and former President of the Asian Institute of Technology, to welcoming remarks. Please give him a warm welcome.
Excellencies, Dato Georgia Samuel, Ambassador of Malaysia to the Kingdom of Thailand, Excellency Dr. Pichet Durong Khaweroth, Thailand former Minister of Digital Economy and Society, and Senior Advisor to GN Thailand of Guatemala, Kip Tines, Ambassador of Kenya, Excellencies, Dato Chai Vila Vaitaya, couldn't see him, founder of the Michai Bamboo School, Mr. Ija Vicky, Literacy and Lifelong Learning, Education, Innovation and Skills, Madam of the Ambassador of Kenya, and representatives from various embassies who happen to be here. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the President of, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you on these auspicious occasions of the UN here, Chulalongkorn School of Integrated Innovations, who served as a venue host. We are honored to have all of you here of Integrated Innovation, or in brief, SCI, is a brand new faculty level unit of Chulalongkorn University dedicated to educating and preparing the next generation of global leaders and innovators. Our mission is to develop well-rounded, forward-thinking individuals with the skills and competencies necessary to thrive in a rapidly changing world, characterized by economic, social, technological, and environmental shifts. Our approach to education, project-based instruction, all of these align with the theme of this year, International Day of Education, which is to invest in people and prioritize education. We believe that innovation, sustainable development goals, especially goal number 4, quality education, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. SCII is committed to this mission by providing education that not only prepare our students for employment after graduation, but also nurtures and develops them to become well-rounded global citizens, entrepreneurs, and future thinkers who are equipped to navigate the challenges of the changing world. As many countries in Asia today are celebrating the Lunar New Year, I would like to end the quote is, which translates to reading 1,000 books and traveling thousands of miles. This quote emphasizes that knowledge comes not only from books, but also from experiencing the real. Once again, welcome to Chulalongkorn School of Integrated Innovations, and thank you for joining us on this important occasion. Thank you.
So next, may we please invite Dato Steve Shea, Chairman of Gen Thailand, Diplomatic Consul, Head of Missions, for his presentation on entrepreneurial mindset education. Please give him a warm welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Do you want to put my presentation? I'd like to thank all of you for coming here, and especially for Dr. Borasak, Dr. Pedro, and the student team who organized all this. SCII is an amazing school. I had the pleasure to work with them. And they're very unique because this is the only organization I know at least in Asia, that offers a BA and BSc combined. At the same time, how did they apply the creativity of business to make it work in the real world? Before I continue further, let me explain to you working with SCII. One is GEO in 200 countries, and we support building a one global entrepreneurial ecosystem. We basically work in every country to encourage government and all together to create a better place. The other organization is the Diplomatic Council. It was established in The Hague. Ambassadors will probably know this. By ambassadors goals, so the SDG development. So working to get combined with very common goals and make sure you look at what's working and what's not working. Last year, we celebrated UN International Day of Education. This year's theme is invest in people, prioritize education. It's a very wide topic. The theme is very wide, but I would like to particularly focus on in young people for the challenges of the 21st century. We have a lot of challenges coming up, and I'll go through. And the system is designed to produce the second industrial revolution, the third industrial revolution. Time there's a change or disruption in the whole, prepare workers for the next industry. If you look at the industrial revolution in 3.0, where before you have computers, everyone was doing manually. They have to prepare how to use computers to go to the next stage. The only thing, we have IoT, we have this, and AI is obviously here. It's about one step up. But notice one thing, every time we have an industrial revolution, it was fairly predictable what we need to prepare for. For example, Industrial 3.0, we know computers are going to come, so they have better computers, so we know that we need to train people in coding, we need to train people how to use computers, and so on. So it was fairly predictable. We were able to prepare for that. Education was able to prepare for that, the education system. Today, we are in Industry 4.0. While most companies or education teach them how to work within the company, they're training people to work in the company to fit into a system. 4.0 is about, so we see a lot of disruption in the marketplace. For example, the largest hotel room provider accommodation in the world is not any hotel group. They don't own any rooms. It's Airbnb. Okay? The one that has most cars in the world don't own any cars. They have Grab or Uber or whatever. This is disruption that we can see, and we are experiencing ourselves as coming in. The next disruption is 5.0, which is going to be much, much more complicated because we're talking about AI. AI is going to change the world in many ways, and it has already done so. Okay? So preparing for complicated and much more difficult for us to plan. And I'll tell you why later as we go along. Now, the problem with the education system is that it tests memorization skills, not learning or intelligence. So anyone who's done well in school generally, people with great memories usually do well. Top jobs, doctors, lawyers, and so on. Today is a whole different world. Remember so many things. All the information are up to date. When I did my undergraduate and my graduate degree, I had to go to the library and search a lot of information. Today, students just need to search the phone, and they get updated information. Whereas in the old days, whatever I referred to were publications that already been outdated by the time I got to it. Okay? So we have the digital disruption coming out. And you see the little picture there. He says, for a fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam. Please climb up the tree. The monkey will do well. I don't think the elephant or the dog or whatever can. So this is a reflection of will cause definitely a lot of disruption. Economic mechanism to teach people to fill jobs when find a job because the jobs are not there. Now, according to the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs Report 2020, The update one's about the same. 2 billion the jobs in the market will not exist. Now, think about this. Today, if I order an Uber car or a Grab car, there's a driver, at least in Thailand. In the States and other countries, there's no driver. 10 years from now, there's no need to be a driver. The technology is already here. It's a matter of implementing it. Okay? You're already having it in certain parts in the countries. You don't need the driver, and it's safer without a driver. Will not find a job for sure, because it will come a time where it will be cheaper and safer to have machines. You go to restaurants and hotels. There are certain restaurants, hotels, you don't need to have a human service. You go to MK now, they have a little robot that comes and brings a tray. They still have a person to take it from the robot and put it on your table. What will happen in the future? There are supermarkets in China and certain parts of the world. You walk in, no credit cards, nothing, fit the spectrum. Let's talk about very highly, paid profession, like a doctor, lawyers, and others. You have to study many years to become a doctor, or a lawyer, or accountant. Today, if someone goes and see a doctor, and the doctor say, "I'm afraid you got cancer," that's not good news. And many doctors don't really have solution. They'll give you a cocktail with drugs. They'll try to do it here. They try different drugs and see which one works. Imagine now, I didn't move on. Imagine that Fitbit smartwatch that you wear, the technology is already here, is able to measure a particular chemical in your body that is produced a certain amount that causes cancer. The watch can alert you before you come to a dangerous stage, before you come to bad one, and says, go that causes cancer. Okay? All this technology is not impossible, it's not a dream, it's happening at the top level. Doctors, lawyers, and so on are. I'm not saying we don't need lawyers or doctors anymore, but we will need lawyers and doctors who are more compassionate. Ask me what's wrong it is, they'll check me up and so on. Today, if I see a doctor, I go to the hospital, I'll be lucky if I get 10 minutes. Okay? Sadly, it has come to that way. This lovely lady who I had the pleasure of working with is the Chargé d'Affaires of Kosovo. Thank you for coming. Okay. So, most jobs will be transformed. There's no question about it. We are seeing it now. So, there's a focus on learning, creativity, innovative skills, information media, and so on that's coming out. Jobs that has never existed before will start the whole disruption process. They will be evolving and evolving soon. That's why education institution has difficulties trying to identify. It's not like the old days where we know that, computers coming, let's prepare them for computer skills. It's not as straightforward as it used to be. Challenge for us. Change. There will be reduction in need for workers for manual work. That's very clear. It's already happening here. Mechanization, robotics, and so on are all in critical thinking. No doubt about it. You need to sit down with people to solve what the problem is. They have to listen. Doctors have to listen, and so on. Okay? Accountants have to listen. Okay? Because everything else, the computer can do better. It can fly a plane better. It can drive a car better. It can tell you, it can your medical problem even better. So, education needs to transition from a teaching model. When we didn't have computers, when we didn't have AI, we didn't have the mobile phone, that was necessary. Today, in a classroom, if the teacher says no, what we need is ability and to train the students to learn how to discern fake news and real news. That's where common sense comes in. There's the ability to analyze, the ability to independently, have logical thinking. That's what students need to prepare for. Now, this is a problem. Now, this chart here is from the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, a study done by. I picked up a comparison chart of the entrepreneur framework conditions in Thailand and Asia Pacific. If you look at the blue line, that's where Thailand, Asia Pacific region is really, really behind. Very few resources are put into entrepreneurial mindset education. In other words, they teach the normal STEM, but they don't focus on entrepreneur mindset education. That is why when they come to university, students still do not know how to solve problems. They're good in learning, doing the exams, but they still do not know how to solve problems. That is the biggest challenge we have. And so entrepreneur education is something that we at GEN, Global Entrepreneurship Network, and the Diplomatic Council feel that is something that we can do, at least from what, that's within our reach, within our capability, to help at least solve the problem one step at a time. Okay. Now our solution, analysis, problem solving, self-management, active learning, and so on. Okay? And our solution is to focus on entrepreneurial mindset. Because in today's environment, you cannot plan your whole life career now if you're expecting to have to learn new things. What is it about that we want to teach? We want to teach EQ, emotion intelligence. I'm not sure resilience is a very important fact, because when most students who have not been able to acquire the skills to solve problems, when they come across, they must realize and do something about. Program or a project that works, at least from what we could. So we started the Pitcher School Entrepreneurial Mindset Education Program and Business Plan Competition. Okay? Now, basically, the whole idea of this is we want to develop problem solvers. Students or young people that learn how to solve real life problems, they can identify with. That's part of their everyday life. And we also want to focus on them in the process. Yes, partly yes. But also because the entrepreneurial mindset is the only mindset in all the careers in the world. You are a office staff, a bureaucrat or whatever. The one that get promoted are the one that's entrepreneurial in their thinking. They solve the problem. Even you're working in an office or in a factory, the one that takes the initiative, that has the entrepreneurial mindset, are the one that gets promoted, because they don't only do their job as they are told, because they solve the problem that needs to be solved. And it's very difficult for employers to find people like this, because our whole education system does not encourage that. We need to encourage them as much as we can. Solving is an important aspect of any entrepreneur. At Pitcher School, the students get the opportunity to work in teams, teamwork. They network, they solve real-life problems, and experience an entrepreneurial process. Their creativity. They can apply, apply creativity, sharpen their mindset, analytical and problem-solving skills. This is a process. It's not easy to teach, but if they are involved and they are passionate about what they do, it's a natural process that will come from them. So it covers the whole area, from their social ability to interact, to environment, how the economic part. I think it is important to understand that when we talk about entrepreneurial and entrepreneurship, I have to make it to be entrepreneurs, to be business people. That's why you have entrepreneurship programs that teach you how to do business. Entrepreneurial education, there's a huge difference, because people always think, oh, I don't want Pitcher School because I don't want to be a businessman, entrepreneur, I want to be a lawyer and so on. Yes, this is where entrepreneur, you need to learn how to solve problems. Okay? Because an entrepreneur mindset takes whatever comes in. As as a head of NGO, we are focused on sustainable social economic development. We are part of a global NGO. Okay? So when we run the program, we want to make it sustainable, but our focus is on impact, not on profit. Although I like to make some profit as well, because we need to make these projects sustainable. That's why every are volunteers. We don't pay them, by the way. Okay? Today, this event are organized by 19-year-old students, a group of them, first-year student at Basai, because we felt it was important to give them. So we are here to gather the talents and support and the people to make what we do possible to collaboration. Now, you may ask, why entrepreneurship? I think most of you probably recognize, Muhammad Yunus. We have someone from the Bangladesh embassy here. Ambassador Hai couldn't make it, but the team. So, Muhammad Yunus has been a very, outspoken person. And I think I'd like to play this 2-minute video and let him explain what entrepreneurship is about.
It's not just making money. That's what I meant by entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is solve problems all around us, and we continued to solve that problem, and that's how we survived. We were in adverse circumstances when we came to this planet, but we were not frightened by that adverse circumstances. We took them by grip, and one by one we tried to solve them, and we kept on solving them. As a result, we came millions of years on this planet and survived and successful. So that's entrepreneurship. Any human capability used for solving problem for mankind, for the planet, I would consider this an entrepreneurship.
Muhammad Yunus, obviously, he's a Nobel Prize, Peace Prize winner. And he knows the problem. He solved the problem. The youth to be able to solve the problems that's visibly ahead of us, which are already here. Now, let me just give a rundown of give you an idea of what we've done in Pitcher School and what we are doing in entrepreneurship. We are not about teaching, we're about learning. So we try to give unique experiences to the students where they can actually learn the whole realization now that equal education does not work. It's equity in education that works. Pick it up. So equitable education is about adjusting to the needs of the students. But when the students get involved and they find a project they love, automatically their passion and their interest will drive it. Okay? And that's where the teachers comes in and play a different role. They no longer primarily teach, they guide and coach the students as they move along. So we try to bring as many international and interesting projects. For example, on the first slide there, we have Oxford University office. We have a program with Oxford. We bring students from 13 years old to 16 years old, and they actually live in a dorm in Oxford University for a week. And they go through a program. This is with, UNESCO and so on. And they eat there, they play there, they go around, and it's one of the programs. Or you have kids that's between 30 August. So now these are the relationship that we have built internationally. We have done a lot of competition. We have entrepreneurship talk, we have competitions, and we have workshops. So these are some of the activities that we've been doing. Please go to our website. It's just pitcherschool.org, one word. You can find a bit more. Now, we are very fortunate to have royal events. Only in November, we have His Highness, the Crown Prince of Selangor, Malaysia, in Malaysia with the schools there. Okay? Now, Pitcher School also has a royal kind of 2019. At that time, we had the brother of King Charles. He came for this event, and the students got a chance to meet them. It was at that event, what was the biggest challenge you have doing entrepreneurial programs in this part of the world? No one asked me that question before, and I thought of foundations, and I tried to give them advice or mentor them. They don't listen because in their mind, they have already they are not open to it. But the moment I go to university, I felt like, I'm grown up now. I don't need the teacher's advice. And that prompted me to think, if I want to teach the students, they think they know everything. Okay? So that's how the program started. So we started the first Picture School program at Vachiravut. And it has, despite the COVID situation, we managed to put on quite a number of programs. Okay? Something, and the most important, the students are having fun. You know, I tell you the challenge we have when we started this program. When we brought it to the schools, the teachers were asking us, okay, give us all the material. And they said, there's no material, everything's online, our programs, and regurgitate and teach them. I said, it doesn't work that way. You don't have to teach. For the first 3 to 6 months, the teachers were resisting us, but the kids were enjoying themselves. My role here is to coach, and from my experience, guide them along. And they start, when they got comfortable with that, they were learning so many. And then you know what happened? Later on, when we have the events at Vachiravut College, guess who organized them? 14 to 16-year-old kids. They organized the events. So these are the older batch. 19 is already old for the Picture School. So we provide a platform for the kids, the youth, to express themselves. Moment, please. Okay, what's next? We will be launching the Picture School International. Hold on about that, sorry. Now, currently, the Picture School program in Thailand are designed or targeted to Thai schools. That means schools that follows the Thai semester. Okay? We have them in English and in Thai. We plan to launch the international program where we will be reaching out to international schools to be part of this. Now, there's a reason why we want to do it in international school, because we have countries from around the world that want to do the international school student pairing program with us. England, Malaysia, Brunei, Bhutan, Nepal, Kenya. Okay? A lot of these countries say, hey, we want to do Picture School pairing program, because this is how the program works. When we get students to work together in teams of 5, currently they're all students from the same school, and they identify a real-life problem, a SDG problem, and they solve it. Now, this can be a profit-making enterprise, it can be a social enterprise, or it just can be for the community. Okay? So we should have students from Guatemala, Kenya, or whatever, and work together online. And then if we get the budget, when the competition comes, students, it's not only about learning English, but learning about the different culture and so on. That's important for world peace for a start. Okay? So these are the program, but we need funding to get the whole thing going. So we have for example, you know, Madam Pamina from the Kenya Embassy has been very supportive of this program. So we hope that we can start the program with the Kenyan Embassy and the students. She already actually identified a school in Kenya that wants to participate, but we just need to get the international school to be part of it. I got Malaysia, I got England, everything waiting. But we don't want to start it until we get things all set up. So the international student pairing program, we hope with the right support that we can start this year. This budget, because we are a volunteer group. And by today, having all of you here, we hope that we would like to seek your advice on how we can reach out more to work with your schools. We have partner schools. How do we reach out for that? Our advantage, I think, that we can offer very directly to any organization, being an NGO or embassy or the you know, schools and so on, is that we have to the ministry that we should have the UN Day of Education at the UN. Okay? But to do that, we need budgets to get things moving. Okay? That's what we're doing. Now, we have a unique opportunity for us because Picture School is a feature program for Thailand under the GEN network. So it's something we can proudly say that it was all started in Thailand. Now, how you can contribute? If you're a school, consider signing up with us. Go to our website, see what we have. Okay? So we have this program coming up. We also need help to reach out to more schools. Okay? Now we do charge for the program, Although my team are all volunteers, we still have expenses to run it for Thailand. We are looking for sponsors to sponsor our activities, so do reach out for us. We are working with the King Rama VI Foundation later this year. We hope to do a fundraising for Adopt a School program, because Pitcher School currently, with the situation, we work with many, may I use the word elite schools that can afford the program, corporates involved. And the last thing is that if you like to be a volunteer to work with us, we are more than welcome. We would like that as well. Oops. I was of a lot of activities, and if you have any question, contact at genthailand.org. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now excited to move on tirelessly on their sustainability projects. Each team will have the opportunity to pitch their project in front of a live audience and receive valuable feedback from our panel of experts. Management Demonstration School, as they take the stage to present their sustainability project.
Test.
Right, good morning everyone. We're from,
Greetings.
actually,
In school, or we call it Sadit PAM.
yes, and if you haven't noticed, we are first place in Pitcher School this year, and we're proud to introduce our product, I would say, that helps solve an SDG problem, as the program has suggested. Right, so
Okay,
yeah,
let's get
thank you
started.
for wondering how businesses actually succeed in this vast market. Well, the answer is really simple. Data is an important aspect. These businesses still can't access services related to data analysis and data collection, which means data is still inaccessible to most of us. For these reasons,
With the power of data. Our solution is to be an all-in-one data platform for those who seek to improve a certain topic in the business. They could utilize our AI-based collection and analysis service, making the process much faster and more efficient. Then respondents come into our platform, complete their survey in exchange for some rewards. When the
not only that, but as we have said, we've also meet the target SDG 8.2, diversify, innovate, and upgrade for economic productivity. And what you might be wondering is, who are we actually selling this to? Well, most of the time, we're going to be selling this to SME owners, pretty much small to medium. Decreasing your workload by a ton can actually help a lot. Your thesis will get done faster, and also you can get personalized data, and also you can customize it whenever you want. And what you there can expect from Stellar is when you enter our platform, you'll be able to visualize your flows and upgrade your business.
of our business model with our value propositions. We have AI tools that can analyze your data and also help you create the question for your survey. We're secure. Stream starts off from being an online marketplace that cuts the transaction fees from the analysis service and also a collection service fee, which the pricing solution so that we could break through the global big data market, because over the past few years, big data has shown significant growth in market revenue.
And all the service and $29 for our analysis service, you can do pretty much whatever you want. Not only that, for our company, our expected growth rate, as I say, this is our lovely team that has helped and created Stellar, and as I say, our lovely team. And now you can also actually visit our website. Stay tuned, because we're going to be updating it. stellardata.co, that's our website. You can visit us 1 year or 2 years from now, and we'll probably update you on what we're doing. And right, so who's ready to come with us and help other businesses grow? Right, if you have any questions on our business, you can actually ask away.
Okay.
We're up for.
All right. So,
Thank you.
all right.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Right. Thank you, Nong from Satit Pim. So next, we have another high school students groups who will be pitching their projects. Ladies and gentlemen.
because it's like anyone can stalk
I
us.
know. There might be someone stalking us. I don't know.
What happened?
I don't know. There's a stalker.
Oh my God, that's a big deal. I'm gonna call the police.
Wait. You need to call the police.
Why?
That's gonna be too obvious, and the criminals might notice you, so don't worry. I have PETA.
What is that?
It is a pendant that linked with the application to report emergency to the police and also the people that you trust by just press and hold like this.
Oh, I got a report. He must be arrested. The police is now coming, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Let's try to.
So scared.
Look at that! He has been arrested. We are safe because of your PETA.
Welcome to PETA. We're from Watana Vidya Academy, and I'm Lisa.
Illustrate the number of missing people in 2022 divided by ages and sex. As you can see, since we are newborn baby until 16.
And this is an example of how you can wear your pendant as a necklace or as a bracelet, as you prefer. And is it expensive, Yoo-hoo?
Not at all. We're gonna sell it for just 2,999 baht, which are everywhere in your daily life. Which all of those things will fit in the Sustainable Development Goals, number 11, 16, and 17. Our marketing targets on the age of 15 to 45 years old. And why so, Miss Lisa?
Because 15 years old child can create a bank account and manage money well enough. That's why.
Kill Plus can also buy our products. And of course, our slogan is Peace in PETA, to represent our objective to bring peace to the world.
And this is an example of how you can custom your pendant. First click, and this is how our application looks like.
Next, we're gonna talk about our marketing timeline. We're gonna focus on the one search, two shine principle, which means we're gonna take 1 year to release the demo app of PETA, solicit the feedback from customers, and we're gonna take another 2 years to focus on the online advertisement, which is TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, to make PETA become more acknowledgeable. And we're gonna make sure that PETA will grow stably and safely.
And this is a bar chart from our 5 years profit. As we has been reason why we set a goal to sell the product
30,000 people per year.
And the first year, our profit will be 26,991,000 baht. And why PETA, Yoo-hoo?
Well, of course, because our PETA is convenient, light material, easy to carry in your daily life. PETA has been decided to not attach the criminal's eye, and it will be safe side PETA to be modified into bracelets, necklace, or a keychain. We also make the MOU with the Thai Royal Police Stations, the foundation and charity in Thailand, such as Thai Royal Police Station, Ruom Katanyu Foundation. Press the button that you custom by yourself, and our partners will come to you immediately. You.
เตรียมตัวกราบ
To introduce you to our friends, Tamphon Wilsons. So she's studied at the School of Integrated Innovations, and today she's going to be sharing her insights and experience in her previous months.
Okay, so I would like to start my brief talk today by asking you all a very important question. And this is particularly directed at the high school students. Have you been a successful entrepreneur? If you have, can you raise your hands, please? I see quite a few number of hands. Okay, so it would be safe to assume that a lot of you actually believe that education is very necessary if you must become a successful entrepreneur. But I bet at Chulalongkorn School of Integrated Innovation. Back to our question. So I said that I beg to differ because growing up, I'm Nigerian by the way, so for the most part of my life, I have lived in Nigeria. Growing up in my community, I would always see lots of business people lots of entrepreneurs who were doing very well, who is the owner of Facebook, seemingly dropped out of Harvard, right? So why do we really have to go to school to be great entrepreneurs? What I did not realize was that these people I saw in my community then, who were doing big things as entrepreneurs but didn't go through college, actually had something called an informal kind of education. They didn't have to sit in the four walls of classroom to have the formal kind of education we are used to. What they had was an informal kind of education. So they would have something called an apprenticeship, right? Where they would pair up with someone in the field who is already doing very well. So after about 1, 2, so either ways, however you choose to toss this coin, education is very important if you must succeed as an entrepreneur, formal or innovation, my faculty. I can see some questions on the faces of the high school students asking, why Chulalongkorn School of Integrated Innovation? Why not any other entrepreneurial school? Okay, I'm going to share with you some of these reasons, but I'm going to try not to share with you a rehearsed reason, or this is why this school is really good. 6 months now, and everything I'm going to share with you is based off of what has happened in this short span of time. In 6 months, changed as a result of being a student of this entrepreneurial faculty. The first is my mindset. My mindset changed. And when I say BASI, I mean Bachelor's of Arts and Science in Integrated Innovation. That is the degree you get upon graduation in this faculty. By doing all these things, my mindset was changing without my permission. One of my very amazing lecturers, Dr. Pedro Bosano, taught us on the first day of class last semester. He told us that there are two kinds of mindsets. There is the fixed mindset, and there is the growth mindset. He gave us the characteristics of this mindset. What I did not know as at that time was that I had the fixed mindset. It is not until recently, upon seeing my semester report, I did a reflection on my stay so far in this faculty. And I realized that I actually did have a fixed mindset, but this has changed gradually without my knowledge. It was a subconscious change because of the way the curriculum is built and because of the way the learning methods are. I was this kind of person that if I got caught up in traffic, I would be like, oh my God, this traffic is so bad. I'm going to be late for my lectures. I would complain, or non-verbally, I would complain. But I figured that recently, I no longer do that. If I'm caught in traffic, I would be, the traffic in Bangkok has been really high. How may we solve this problem? So I moved from complaining to asking myself the how may we question. So I don't get into a problem. Do I have what it takes to solve this problem? If I do, then we start to brainstorm with my friends and begin to ideate and begin to pitch like they just did. So what I'm saying, the first point, the innovation, did this for me in less than 6 months. The second I'm going to share with you is my skill set. I came into this faculty, yes, I know that is not going to happen. How did they say? They didn't say it today, or I'm writing the script for a presentation like this, or I'm writing for my assessment, so I am always writing. My writing skills got really sharpened. My ability to use so many software applications got sharpened. And this is because the School of Integrated Innovation applies a unique transdisciplinary approach, something you don't just see anywhere. We don't just come in complete and really knowledgeable entrepreneur, which are happening in this century. My skill set improved. And the last, before I leave, is my network blew up. My ability, my connection, the way I speak to people, my communication skills grew. I began to meet more people because once you are in this faculty, there is always one event to attend, or a boot camp to go for, or a seminar you should apply for. So through these opportunities and platforms, I was always meeting people to work with people more. Standing before you is someone that walked into this faculty with about 10 connections on LinkedIn. And guess who my connection, less than 7 months, my connections grew from 10 on LinkedIn to almost 400 people that I know and have spoken to. This is just to show you that the School of Integrated Innovation is not here to joke. This is where you can get that entrepreneurial education you really need. And mind you, you might be thinking, oh, I don't want to be an entrepreneur. I want to do a 9 to 5. You don't have to want to be an entrepreneur to get to think entrepreneurially. We are in the 21st century. We don't need people who are learning the traditional way. You have to enroll yourself. My skill set improved, and my network grew. With these few points of mine, I hope I've been able to convert to your concerns. I'm going to be around after this. Do well to ask your questions. And I hope you enjoy the rest of today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tamphon, for always keeping a high energy. Ladies and gentlemen, before we go to break, I would like to introduce you to our guest speakers.
Please welcome Mr. sharing with us his insights and experiences on how the Michai Bamboo School is revolutionizing education and promoting sustainable development.
Good afternoon, Excellencies, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen. Mine will be a school C, that only the privileged or the unprivileged as well. So this is called a bamboo school. It's built of bamboo in Buriram province, next to the Cambodian border. What you and I know. So the school is as a gateway for social and economic empowerment in surrounding communities, for the students as well as the community. So the whole idea is to make this school a lifelong learning center for all members, not just the students, but everybody in the surrounding area. And at the school we have life skills and occupational skills as well as academic skills. My voice is not loud. Type of student that Thailand needs. Students. This is like a government operation, so slow, people. We have enough corruption in Thailand without adding to it. And they're willing to share. They must be willing to share. They possess life skill and occupational skills, social entrepreneurs and community development workers, and most important of all is to respect all types of people, to practice and promote equality. This is the bamboo dome, geodesic dome. It's made of bamboo. The rest of the world is made of steel. It's the fastest growing tree. It can grow anywhere in the world, and you can eat it, you can use it for construction, and it can produce water for you. So it's a very useful product, and it's available almost everywhere in the world. And the geodesic dome is designed by Minister Fuller, a very famous American architect. And except the dresses of the people here. So why can't a school be colorful, right? We all want to be happy. Which part of our, and what is a good mother? And do they teach us how to share? No. So let's take a look at a school that is practical, and so here it's colorful. Dictionary as you walk. You don't have to go to a library, you can walk and check your vocabulary along there. And every stairway as you go up, you know how much energy. Am I pointing in the right direction? What brand is this? Ring, and use it for vegetable growing. And this is a typical classroom. It's built of bamboo, but with simple furniture. And our school with families. And we also have the minority groups. We also now have them from other states to know our neighbors, but also our students to know each other when they're still young. How to manage. We just went to class and then back home. So here is development leadership. Students help to run the school. This is the student government, 4 from each. So here visitors come, the students do all the explanation and they play music for them, but no teachers. We want you to look at the output of the school, not the input. And here you have ministers, one sitting inside with us, our foreign minister, our Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Science, Technology, and so on. So and all the purchasing, they go and check the market price for the vegetables. They buy it once a month, and then they check the competitor, the price, 4:30 in the morning to check on the prices of the competitors. And there's an audit committee to make sure everything works right. And here is, we're fortunate to be given some money by IKEA to buy 5 vehicles to work and help other schools. And the students did all of this. They went to the website, Toyota, Nissan, Isuzu, and then they decided which one they wanted, and then they went to see the chairman to ask for a special price. These are secondaries today. And so if you want to come to our school, you are interviewed and selected by the students, not by the teachers. Your parents are also interviewed. If you want to be a teacher at this school, you're also interviewed by students. First you have a written exam by the students, then an interview with the teachers, the students, and then they have to show how to teach on the right-hand side. If you don't teach very well, the students aren't going to select you. Fruit peels to make paper in the school, then we go to the villages and get the elderly people who don't have much strength to make the paper, and then we purchase it from them. And so they're making solar panels for torches, and also using the regular panels for water pumps, mobile water pumps in the villages and as well in the school. These are made by the poor people and elderly people to earn a good income. But again, agriculture can be colorful. And here's the hydroponic system put together by grade 7 students, operated by grade 7 students. And now the students are making hydroponic using PVC pipes. You can see the girls are working, the boys are watching. Typical Thailand in the country. It can also be also growing a melon and now being sold online. The school also grows grapes. Microgreen from sunflower. On the right is mushrooms. Very high income, and we'll show you. In terms of using 1 kilogram mung bean, you can make 4 kilograms of bean sprouts, and in 1 square meter you can produce 24 kilograms, and you can sell it for 20 baht per kilogram. That's 480 baht per week. For 1 month, 1,900, and for 1 year, 23,000. Come to the school and say, hey, you learn about this, so you can earn all money at home. So it's now we're working with about 200 schools, and for social and economic advancement, 6 bags for the bean sprouts. And so 20 square meters of bean sprouts, in 1 week you'll earn 9,600 baht. In 1 month, 38,000 baht. In 1 year, almost 500,000 baht. That's just from 20 square meters. It's about half the stage. And then a very high profit of 597%. Kids, what you grow and what you can earn. And the mushroom, you will see that 60,000 baht. For if it's 20 cement rings, it's 120,000 baht. And so if you're using 60 square meters each, and that's 60 square meters, for mushroom you get 120,000, for microgreen 288,000, and bean sprouts 460,000. In the space, just bigger than this space, you can earn almost 900. We're bringing the elderly people back into the line of production through new type of agriculture. And we also have tissue culture laboratory. It's usually taught in university, 4th year agriculture. We use it for grade 7. A lot of stuff at university level needs to be brought down to the school, and secondary school needs to be brought down primary school. Special lighting, and here the types of bananas on show. So people see that these are big size, and people line up to buy from them. Slaves of the telephone. You know, King Rama V did away with slaves back over our lives very well, because most of the time it's not for knowledge, it's for playing around. So 1 hour per week, and then in return you must write 2 letters, because people don't know how to write letters anymore, and send, and we provide the stamps for you. And also, come back to the eating, the picture of that on a Saturday, we also do not eat. I'd like to show that back. We do not eat on a Saturday when you use a telephone, to learn how 500 million people feel. You can't learn from a book. You have to learn from being hungry. And here, using wheelchair, for people in wheelchair, the students must sit in wheelchair. And here now we're helping other schools with wheelchair-bound students in Si Sang Wan School in Chiang Mai and Khon Kaen. So now they have their farm. They asked us to help. We went to the Shell company and got money from Shell to do this. And so on, also using a wheelchair on hydroponics. So these students can have an income after they leave school. And see, here they're growing rice in cement ring. They never thought they could grow rice from wheelchairs. So all these are possible. We also want to show how. And so we also brought in students to teach us sign language. We have 400,000 Thais we cannot speak to, but I can speak to other people from other countries, but not to 400,000 of my own people. So we have to learn. So we ask them to help teach. And so they ask us, can we help with a vegetable? So we in return, but we get them to help us first. We do not go as a superpower. And these are the grade 11 and 12 who now have permanent sales to the local restaurant. And school fees, they are not, we do not give free scholarship or free education. They're not beggars. They pay for their schooling in terms of what they have. One is time, the other one is goodwill. So 800 hours of community service by parents. So we say, you have time, you have spirit, you are a rich person. We're not going to give it to you, you're not beggars. So somebody's giving you something and you're giving something else to somebody else. Like a relay race. So by the time you finish your school of grade 12, you have planted 5,000 trees, just one person. And so every Wednesday, the students go out to help society, and those who want to be teachers go out to teach in primary school. So the students are now learning how to do vegetables in other schools. These are grade 3 students learning how to grow melons. And so now the bamboo school students have been going for the last 7 years, going out to help other schools to become schools as a gateway for social and economic parent, a whole lot of software and hardware, but we're not using it. And so the students are learning how to do things. This one growing morning glory on the left and melon on the right. The students have to do all the work to learn, and this is a new type of PVC basket. Don't have to worry about the land. Make our own soil. And here the younger students, everyone has a plot. So here they're growing in, this is now in plastic containers in a school. And using car tires as well. Again, using recycled stuff. It's very attractive, very cheap. So of the 200 schools that we're helping, they're all funded by the business community. And they can deduct 200% from their income. And so here's the mushrooms being delivered to the school, the kids putting them together, and how putting it inside an umbrella, a beach umbrella. Right before they go back, And also the schools now have hydroponics, very modern agriculture, but not expensive. And also now we'll help the School for the Deaf and those children in wheelchairs to have them the tissue culture also, so that they have a future in agriculture at home in the future. All becoming social entrepreneurs. We helped to establish so far 200 social enterprise in the schools, in the farm, and then in the loan fund for the students, and then a loan. This is the bean sprouts by the students, ready for market. And now the community and the teachers and the parents are joining in to plant the melon, or in a bucket with using sand, not using earth at all. And the teachers observe and they let the students explain. Some of them are extremely good now. And again, here's growing a melon in a pot and using sand. And this is grown by the students. This is in a warehouse done in the school. And here the students say good night before they go home. You can deposit and you can borrow to do your business. We have a fund for every student who wants to borrow. And here's their bank books. And now beginning to sell, growing and selling. They've got to learn how to sell, how to make a profit, and other produce, food they make. So they're learning how to do things so when they get out of school, they can do it. But also the parents are beginning to do it at home. They're learning it through the students at the school. And food, pineapple cakes for the elderly. There's a special program from the school out to the villages helping the elderly. They're having a difficult time because many grandparents are looking after grandchildren. We have 6 million kids living with grandparents because the parents didn't know how to earn money because of our education system, so they have to migrate and look for a job. So we are now trying to get them to stay at home also. But so that here's a special program in business for the elderly. And so it's an actual training, hands-on training, not from a book. And what we provide is, again, this is given from the companies. It's 8,000 baht per couple. And what you get are free. Some get it as a loan. If you're very, very poor, you get it for free. But it's just one time. It's sustainable. And the mushroom now being delivered to the homes of the elderly. And the students are working with the elderly. And so he is delivering so the Bamboo School students are helping to do all of these things. These are the homes of the villagers. We have 16 villages surround our school, about 9,600 people. This is just our school. We're helping other schools, 200, to do the same thing, funded by the private sector. And so again, these are the elderly people. They feel very encouraged. Now the young people are coming to them, spending time with them. So it's a partnership between grandparents and grandchildren. So this is a vegetable grown, what we call a table, to raise it so the elderly people don't have to bend when they're doing vegetable. And so here the mushrooms being brought together, being sold by the elderly, sold to the school primarily. Then now, this is the microgreen. They're selling it mostly to the schools. We have 32,000 schools to use part of it to buy it from the elderly. Bean sprouts. And having to receive help, they're now giving help, providing. We had the budget from the business community, so they're helping to provide training in food and income security. So here are the deaf students working and teaching, and the monks are watching. Wheelchair-bound students training elderly people how to grow vegetables. This is in Chiang Mai. Some elderly people have land, some do not. The schools say use our land, and some temples say come and use our land. So we now have temple land all over the country to be used for land for growing a vegetable for the elderly people. So the training goes on the temple. The monks are also helping, joining in. So our new group partnership is the schools, the temples, and now we're going to work with districts, hospital, Rongpiban, Ampere. They're going to help identify who are sick, who need help, and then we provide the training and the income through the school students. Most Thailand 32,000 schools have buildings, land, electricity, water, teachers, parents, students, but underutilized. So all these, that job done yet? Okay. I've just been told I'm going to be over. I think it's because of this is so slow working. And so that we believe the 76,000 villages, around 32,000 schools, can be extremely useful in helping to get rid of poverty. So a school is more than just a school. Everyone changed their mind. And that's what they said. I'll leave that out. And then the Senate also came back and said that the school is what we want in Thailand, and so I'll just skip that. And the SDG, we have 17. We've looked at it with the students, not enough. 17 won't help Thailand. We need 21. We need to share, not just leave it everything to the government. 2, rule of law, obey the regulation, obey the law, even in traffic. And honesty, no corruption. If we don't stop corruption, forget about SDG. The rest all will burn down. So honesty and corruption must be addressed by schools, in the schools. And we said that to the UN and they liked it. And so they came and signed a compact with the schools. But we got the students to sign an agreement with the UN, not the teachers. And the last thing. So I thank you for your attention. And I suggest you change this too.
Mr. Mishai, Mr. Mishai, please remain on stage. All right. So before break, can I have everyone? All right, we want to take group photos for everyone. So may I have everyone in front? You guys can stand next to Mr. Mishai, and everyone else, the students, please also join us. You can stand on the stage. So everyone, please join us. To me and Kim. All right, thank you, everyone. We'll now take a brief break. Yes, and after this, we'll have our last sections of today with panel discussion from UNESCO. We'll have a 10 minutes break, and I'll see everyone again in 10 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Please get ready as we're about to begin.
So, just tell them we're
Just close now.
he will do the closing session.
Now.
No, not now. After the panelists.
Okay. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So we will now be proceeding to the panel discussion. In their respective fields, who will be sharing their insights and perspectives on the topic at hand. So I am honored to invite.
All right, I'll let everyone settle in first. It's for the delay. And the panelists up on stage. First, we have His Excellency Dr. Pishet Pilod, Thailand former Ministers of Digital Economy Society, former Ministers of Mr. Iria Rieki, UNESCO Non-Formal Education and Literacies, Equitable and Inclusive Educations. Sprouse of the ambassadors at the Embassy of Kenya. And at last but not least, of diplomatic consuls. We would like to remind everyone that we are honored to have everyone up here.
The topic of investing in people and prioritizing education is this ways. I am confident that these speakers will provide valuable insights and perspectives on the topic at hand, and I look forward to it.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really happy to have you here today. It's an honor to moderate this panel on education, entrepreneurial mindset, and future of education. All here. Since we are slightly late on our agenda. So first of all, I would like to ask Ilya to share some thoughts and perspective from UNESCO's standpoint.
Okay, thank you, Pietro. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ilya Rieki, working here at UNESCO Regional Bureau for Education here in Bangkok. Happy to have you all here, and thank you for your invitation. Say that I'm happy to celebrate an International Day of Education, but I think with this year's theme been made here in the Pacific region, hundreds of millions of people have been lifted from poverty, and with the strong measures from a lot of the governments, majority of the people have been able to. populations or vulnerable language. I would like to rephrase that narrative of vulnerable groups and marginal population. When the year of 10, we cannot call that a marginal issue. Or in Cambodia, Laos, 50% of the adolescents don't continue education after lower secondary education. Half of the population, youth population, and of course a poverty issue. And the question with the UN International of National Governments, it's not a spending. And maybe along the panel we can discuss more on the figures, what possible return, or what's the possible cost on not supporting equitable education. But the figures, earlier speakers were referring to already, His Excellency was referring to 250 million children and youth out of school. So that's quite a...
Thank you very much. So I would like to divide this panel into three main sections. So the first is education, and then the final part of the panel on future of education and sustainable education. So on the first part, I would like to ask His Excellency Dr. Pichet first on that education system was one of the last industry to be disrupted for many reasons, including the fact that main education, which means that to an extent we are a monopoly or an oligopoly in thus limiting free market, promote disruptive innovations in the education field. In this following the definition by Clayton Christensen. So innovation, that concept behind the theory of disruptive innovation, so to be accessible to everyone, to make innovation democratic for people to have this service. So my question is, how can we do this? How can we create disruptive innovation in the education system? And how could we partner with the private sector to promote this? But differently from what happened so far, which didn't really lead to so much of open education system, try to...
But I cannot. This is very complicated. But Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let me put up some observations that we are living in a very strange, it's a world rich can collapse very quickly also because of whatever disruption. And it's a world where young generation is pondering what gaps cannot be wider than what we are facing today. And it's because on the one hand, we want to go back to basic. You know, the classroom environment, good citizen, good mathematics and scientific background, and so on. But on the other hand, we are saying that the new world, we need to give entrepreneurship to even high school students. So this is a world that I'm not familiar with. My kids do not have to adjust, but it's the adults that have to adjust, at least in my family. So what I would like to comment on this at the global level, and I'm very happy to learn that the United Nations has this International Days of Education. But International Day of argue with the Harvard professor, I think education has been disrupted already in a big way. We are playing catching up game development led by digitization, led by innovation, led by entrepreneurship, to adapt and to change. And I think if you compare two sectors, you might see a clearer picture. One is education sector, the other is medical sector. Medical sector is running very fast. trying to catch up with 5G, with AI, even with blockchain. But education is still discussed about how we can change the classroom into a student center, training teachers. I mean, I don't disagree with this, but we are too slow. Let me just give a very quick picture of what I'm foreseeing. They can tell us that they are bridging the gaps of economic development wherever possible in a very rapid big companies, something like that. It's a game today that startups today are facing. So for education, I think we may have to change our mindset like we are education startups ourselves. How can we spin rapidly so that we can service our clients? Kids today cannot grow once they finish college with certain level of digital to manage their career. Even though they are sociologists, they are lawyers, they are business people, let alone being engineer and scientists. There's a minimum level of digitization that they need to command. So we become as consumers. We want to produce, they must compete. And I'm going to finish with a few more statements. And that is, I understand it's very difficult, high school, primary school, upper secondary school, and so on. Very difficult to change. So how, as policymaker, would cope with this complexity? Well, deploy and capitalize on the digital technology itself to train teachers, because physically the technology to change today. And this can be done. Let me just make that assumption. So let me finish at this point.
Definitely, definitely. So thank you for your thoughts. And I think this is really resonate with my following question, which was the role of technology. So I think that you actually led to this very point, that we see most of innovation in education coming from technology startups. But if I can summarize what you mentioned, we see a lot of startups that are helping students with their learning journey. But we do not see enough technology utilized to retrain, reskill the teachers. So this will be the direction. So to retrain the teachers as a way to increase the impact of innovative education. So just to stay on this theme of technology, and then we move on to the teacher training, that was my third question. So I would like to ask again the teachers to address digital technologies, to use digital technology responsibly. How do we ensure that students and teachers in rural areas have access to digital technology, digital AI solutions in education like ChatGPT?
Very briefly, during my term at Fiber Optics, to totally about 85% of villages. Kunmichai told us we have about 76,000 villages. We have completed about 80 to 85%. So it's enough to take care of the digital divide issue. However, what we wanted to do at that time and still want to do is themselves become entrepreneur. One thing that they can do for sure, because the fiber optic is like super highway, the mom and pop stores and so on. So providing service as if they are internet service providers. If we can do that, just 7,000, 8,000 entrepreneur jobs already. I think a more practical approach to answer your question would be ideal. this. There's always a question of how to balance between economic and social development, how to finance it, and where are the personnel. It's always these 3 or 4 issues come as a complex. One last example. I tried very hard for at least 3 years to get the village people to understand digital and to make use of digital without much success. But later on, after I finished my term, and there's a COVID crisis, the Ministry of for Subsistence Living giving them 50% in case they want to purchase goods in the market, but they have to use the app. Guess what? They learn digital very quickly. Get them to be digital literate, you need to think through the process. And if it's something about income, revenue, they'll do it. But if you tell them, oh, go and study this e-learning, we need to be very practical or pragmatic in trying to push through our policy into implementation at all levels.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Very thoughtful observation. And I think, again, we perfectly link your answer to the next question. The next question would be, so Dr. Pichet mentioned about incentives. How incentives play a role in the adoption to do the training of it, both in the public sector as well as in the private sector? Could be your perspective from Kenya of teachers.
Thank you very much for that question. That question that also directly goes to both international schools and also the government school, what we call the government school. Now, for me, I've taught in the 2 different schools. Government school where you don't even have a packet of chalks. We still use chalks. I don't know if you remember them, the dust ones. And a school where you only use a laptop. And for me to transform from a chalk to a new school where I needed to use a laptop. Now, what incentive was I given to go there? First of all, the payment that I was going to get in my new job was extremely high. So that was the first incentive. Second incentive was job promotion. From the level I was in, I knew that if I work very hard using technology and I perform well, I would move back exactly well. Now, if I had taken that job and say, sorry, I don't know how to use that technology, what would have happened to me? It's called competency-based curriculum. This curriculum, the students have to learn to use skills. Now, do we have teachers who can use skills, these skills, technology? No. So what has the government done? Now, what has the government done? First of all, to make sure that they have the network for technology to be run in all the schools in Kenya. This needs electricity. In the rural areas, we don't have electricity. With this, technology is going to be used in the schools. Teachers have no excuse, because what they used to say is, we don't have electricity in our school. So when the government puts the network in place, it is easy for the teachers to accept to do or to use technology in these schools. Now, the other incentive they have used is training these teachers. If you get to learn very fast, then you become a trainer of the other. This helps the teacher move. And now, requiring that you need to have technology. In the country, you need technology. So we are now accepting to use technology in Kenya in every sector, or their tablet. And you do not know, as a mother or as a teacher, how to switch on that computer. How will your child is making as move ahead. I also want to say that in Kenya, we are an ICT hub over the country. If one come to our public transport, most of them now are installing Wi-Fi. Your transport does not have Wi-Fi. You make money at the end of the day. That's how everybody is installing. Most towns have free Wi-Fi in Kenya now. Nairobi, they have country. Now, we also have what we call the Konza Techno City. This city is purely for technology. In the next 5 years, we will looking forward to seeing you there, is to see the Picture School students, the school, and also the Bamboo School. We've learned a lot today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So if I may summarize the main points, so how can we ensure an effective teacher training? So of course, we can use the financial incentive, a salary increase, and also we should not forget the role of enabling infrastructure. And we see the example of Kenya with higher to enhance the quality. So let me now move to the Chia, the communities, stakeholders, and families in the education process. But at the same time, how can we ensure enough ownership for the students? How can we ensure that communities, families are involved, kids are in charge of their education? We see a lot of helicopter parenting. We ensure that 18 years old kids that we have witnessed today, they are able to organize events like this, can take full charge.
Thank you, Dr. Pedro. I must first explain that the plan was for, I wouldn't say on behalf, but in placement of Kupichai. With regard to your questions, Dr. Pedro, this is a very constant issue that we have to deal with. We, as in those who are trying to create impact in the community. Now, if you go back to the original, teaching our families, education, manners, everything starts at home. While it's easy to say that all this needs to be started at home, not every home influence is through education, teach about to be inclusive. Okay? For example, I remember when I went to school in Malaysia, we used to have a class call, or if you walk into a lift or you see an older person, you step back and let the person go in. These things we assume to be basic manners, but I don't know, I haven't been to school for a long time. But I don't see that happening in most schools nowadays. It's got to be taught at home. I think these basic manners in terms of inclusiveness, respect for others and so on, not every family or not every child has the good fortune to have parents that actually will encourage them. Especially in today's world when probably two parents are working, many parents are divorced, and then you have society and you get all kinds of things that's happening. This is a big issue. It's a bigger social problem than us. But if we recognize that, we cannot be teaching everything. It's about not only thinking myself, but how you relate to everything. I would say, if I use a bigger word, we have a more cosmic. Now, that's a very nice coin word to use. But in terms of practicality, let's look at this. Let's say during the COVID, I'm just making this up, okay? They need to give money to people who are suffering, something, which they have to anyway to help them out. Why don't we have them do something for the community? Like Kumichai School, they have them plan, get them to spread the word of some information, some pamphlet, or attend some events where they get opportunity, opinion, given market demand. Technology will continue to develop because people who control this technology are paying for it. So we should be looking in terms of how people behave. It's a matter of how they perceive themselves and how they perceive the community. Sympathy, compassion, empathy, they all come in. But can you teach that? No. You can talk about it because each one's experience is different. So I would say that if we have awareness, I think, in my opinion, I don't have a full solution. Area we can definitely start with, and hopefully something for us. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Chi. Is definitely one of the keywords. We also learn about this example from Malaysia, the civic class, which is definitely. I'm also very grateful to all the panel. Always really look after their children. We see more and more affected in bring students in the class. And we need to ensure education for all, and we know that education is a way to reduce poverty, and we also learn from Finland. To look after it.
I would like to rephrase, not had to be brought into class. We have an access to education. It doesn't necessarily have to happen in class. A lot of education happens in rural areas in Thailand, in community learning centers or migrant learning provided. So it doesn't have to be necessarily a formal class. To elaborate a bit more, Dr. Lee mentioned, but education is for life, and it's phenomenon-based or it's problem-based. That supports.
Online education could ensure access to education, or students, especially at primary or secondary.
Blended learning now, it seems like even in advanced countries like Korea or Finland, there are learning disparities. So if there is no safe adult at home to really help you learn, even university students have, before even university students have difficulty on learning. So we can imagine learning might happen, might not happen. So it's there should be multiple.
Technology can help. Technology cannot. Pamela, to experience Yes, precisely, and also to, let's say, take a gap year. So 4 years in a row, we take 1 gap year, we do some internship, we do some volunteering.
Comes to on the side of the care of those students who are lazy and want to go and have fun at the expense of the lecturer who is sitting there waiting for them. How are you going to, they want to, if you have students who come, for example, how are you going to take care of them? That's one, you have pros and cons to that method that you are applying. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I think here we're moving into the future of time. Let's imagine we are in years' time we would like to see as a reality.
I was so concerned 5 years ago. Now I think it becomes digital bridge because of the space technology, because of the fiber optics, because of the submarine cable. Okay, technology aside, my concern is the context of kids are going to cope with major issues that we are not facing today. For example, to answer your question, we are entering a super aging society. And that would force the government, whether they want to do it or not, to shift the retirement age from the current 60 years old, maybe 65, or even to 70. And look at France today. There's a yellow jacket phenomenon, right? So there will be social difficulty alongside too much of the pain. Okay. Having said that, with the current technology and innovation that we see today, there will be huge amount of automation in industrialization. Look at how big tech companies are laying off people today. Amazon, 19,000. Google just announced today, and so on. Facebook. My point is, if we can relearn our students so that they can cope with the future disruption. And the best thing to do is to be able to learn independently. Great. And doing that, we may need to change the word teaching. We keep maybe 50% teaching, but the rest of the teaching, we need to flip it to become facilitation. Teachers become facilitator and facilitate, which is a lot of homework for teachers, by the way, to facilitate students so that they can learn anywhere, anytime, as we always say in digital technology. Because technology is with them 24 hours, 24 times 7, right? But our methodology, our delivery system in education cannot cope with it at the moment. But we can change. But with proper context and futuristic and look forward to the society in the future, then we have to redesign education have and our students, whether they are remote or facing of problems, because any time that the government is saying, with electricity, don't talk, right? We are facing as well, but because of this criticism, because 80% can have access to passive internet, meaning give them the flash drive, without the Wi-Fi. Small example, but we can do more. But that's what I think would be democratic enough, because they are underprivileged, right? And the government has the power to do it, but they have to act. Lastly, with regard to university, and we are here in the university, university needs to get out of the campus and help the people outside of the campus, especially the rural people, because university have knowledge, have the knowledge, have students, apprentices, researchers, education, society. If I'm safe to leave this place.
Thank you. I think this was a very informative example on how we student So if we have a question from the audience, I think we can only take one question from the audience. If you have any question, you can raise your hand and we will pass you the microphone. Okay, we have one question. We have one fortunate winner. Okay, can you pass him the microphone?
Thank you. So what's your take on the challenge of instilling critical thinking and all the progressive teaching methods that we discussed today upon a very conservative culture that by nature resists these new methods. Let's say, here in Thailand, we all know that switch public commands banking authority. So into the very, conservative.
Now, for that, I think it would start with starting from the curriculum itself that is being taught in the schools. Is it a curriculum that makes the teacher to be trained in what we call the straight jacket type of teaching system that is provided by maybe the Ministry of Education or the colleges that train these teachers or the schools themselves? So it starts with the training of the teachers. If the government can change that policy to allow an open learning policy kind of, or train the teachers to accept to teach, we train our teachers to be, not to teach, to be mentors, to be there to watch the students bloom and bring out them to learn in a specific way. That's what, for example, IB schools, International Baccalaureate, that the teacher, you are supposed to be directing the lesson or standing and work and learn by themselves. Ideas are broken. I think that's the way.
The panel in
Steve.
I promise you this will be a very short close. First of all, I must apologize for overrun time. And I want to thank all the panel speakers and the students and everyone who made this event possible. It's a learning process for all of us. But I think in terms of Cloud School and Picture School is doing in Thailand and so on, we do encourage you to be part of the team if you can in some way or other, because we need volunteers to make this project, reach out to more people. So I think that will be my closing remark and request, so we can work together to create a future for our. Thank you so much for coming.
Ladies and gentlemen, a little bit from a word from my heart. So I would like to thank all the volunteers for taking actions. I would like to thank you guys for being here, for taking actions, and can we please have a round of